Hey guys, welcome back to Gluten Free Habit. I'm Linda, and today I'm going to show you how to make these gluten-free sugar cookie cutouts, or as I like to call them, the last sugar cookie cutout recipe I'll ever need. First of all, I want to send out a big, huge thank you to everyone who is commenting and liking and subscribing. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to share your results and your ideas and your super kind words. Making sugar cookie cutouts has always been a favorite tradition in my home, but I've never really had that perfect recipe. So this year, I took the time to develop a recipe that my family and I really love. Everyone has their own personal preference for what a sugar cookie should be. Some people like them crunchy. I prefer them to be slightly soft with a tiny little bit of chew to them, and that's what these are. They also hold their shape really well, so you can decorate them and they look amazing. If you're not subscribed yet, I hope you'll take a second to do that, and be sure to click the bell icon to turn on notifications. I'm also on Instagram, so follow me there at Gluten Free Habit. This video is part 1 of a 2-part series. In this video, you'll learn how to make the cookie, and in part 2, you'll learn how to make royal icing and decorate your cookies like a pro. All right, let's take a look at the ingredients. You'll need some brown rice flour, tapioca flour, white rice flour, xanthan gum, salt, butter, granulated sugar, vanilla, some eggs, and a lemon. And you'll also need some cookie sheets, a rolling pin, parchment paper, wax paper, and of course some cookie cutters. Okay, we're all set to go. Let's get started with the dry ingredients. To a medium-sized mixing bowl, add in your brown rice flour, tapioca flour, white rice flour, xanthan gum, and salt. Whisk that all together. Now set that aside and let's start on the wet ingredients. To a large mixing bowl, add in your softened butter and your granulated sugar. Mix that together until it's really well blended. Then add in your eggs and your egg yolks, your vanilla, and the lemon zest. And please, please don't skip the lemon zest. It adds a really good mild flavor to the cookies and it makes all the difference in the world. When you're zesting your lemon, make sure that you're only using the yellow part because the white part underneath is more bitter. And mix that together until it's thoroughly blended. And notice in this recipe we're not using any leavener. We want these cookies to be relatively flat so we have a nice surface for decorating. Scrape down your bowl as needed. And now you can add in your dry mix, and I recommend adding it in 2 parts just so that it doesn't become a mess. Once again, mix this up until it's thoroughly blended. There should be no dry flour left at all. Gluten-free cookie doughs are a little bit different than regular cookie doughs. This dough will be a little bit moister and stickier, so don't try to add more flour to change this or try to fix it because it's exactly the way it should be. Okay, it's time to roll out the dough. Lay down some wax paper, then add your dough. And before you set down your dough, you might even want to spray your wax paper with a little bit of cooking spray. That helps the cookie dough to come off the wax paper easily when you're cutting your cookies. And then cover with another piece of wax paper. So I'm doing a half batch for this video, but if you follow the recipe that I have on my website at glutenfreehabit.com, you'll have twice as much. So just divide your dough in half and you'll do this twice. Now just take your rolling pin and gently roll out your dough. One of the secrets to great sugar cookies is don't make them too thin. A thicker cookie will be moister and chewier. Be careful as you're rolling out your cookies not to make the edges thinner than the middle. You want them to be equally thick throughout the cookie. When I think I'm done rolling out my cookies, I actually take a ruler and I measure to make sure that they're 1/4 inch all the way around. This may seem a little bit overboard, but if you want perfect sugar cookies, I wouldn't skip this step. I like to check the measurement in a few places around the dough just to make sure it's uniform. Now put your cookie dough into the refrigerator for about an hour and a half. Don't try to skip this step because your cookies will spread. And while your dough is chilling, it's a great time to clean up the kitchen. Now get ready to cut out your cookies. Set out a cookie sheet and line it with parchment paper. I recommend using a light color cookie sheet because a dark sheet will brown the cookies too quickly. You'll also want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees when you need to so that it's ready when the cookies are. Now select the cookie cutters that you want to use. Today I'll be making the large snowflakes. Alright, once your dough is chilled, take it out of the fridge and remove the top layer of wax paper and start cutting out your cookies. The dough will be firm because it's thick and it's chilled, so put a little muscle into it, and then you can jiggle the cookie cutter just a little bit to help loosen it. And there's no need to dip your cookie cutter into flour. And look how nice this looks. Nice and thick, just like we want it. You can get great cookie cutters at most craft stores, but you can also get them at glutenfreehabit.com. Just click on the shop tab and I'll have an Amazon link to the cookie cutters and to all the other accessories that you need to make these cookies. So carefully pull your cookie out. You can even use a spatula if you need to. And be careful that if you're making cookies of different sizes, that you put all the large cookies on one tray and the smaller ones on another tray, because the smaller cookies bake faster. Any tiny imperfections in your cookies can be easily corrected now by reshaping it with your fingers. And when you run out of space to make more cookies, you can re-roll the dough and then just repeat the process until the dough is all gone. If your cookie dough is a little bit too firm still to re-roll, you can just leave it out on the counter and let it soften, but just pop them back into the fridge again and let them firm up one more time before you bake them. So this recipe will make about 24 average size cookies, and although I'm making Christmas cookies, these are great for any occasion, baby showers, birthdays, you name it. You can find the full recipe at glutenfreehabit.com under the Sweets and Treats tab. Okay, pop these into your preheated oven and let them bake for about 10 minutes. In my oven, 10 minutes is perfect, but please remember every oven is different and you need to keep your eye on them. This is an example of a perfectly baked sugar cookie. Notice that it's not brown around the edges. And here's a cookie that was left in for only about 1 minute longer. Notice that it's browned around the edges. While this cookie is edible, it's going to be a little crunchier and a little drier. Okay, go ahead and remove your cookies from the oven when they're done baking and let them sit on the tray for exactly 3 minutes. If you remove them sooner, they'll still be too soft and they might break. Now carefully move them over to a cooling rack and make sure they're fully cool before you decorate. And there you go, gluten-free sugar cookie cutouts. So here's the finished cookie. It looks beautiful, it smells delicious, and when I break it in half, it doesn't crunch or crumble. It has a nice, soft, chewy texture to it. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and click the thumbs up down below. And don't forget to leave a comment, let me know what you think of the recipe, or just say hi. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next gluten-free habit recipe. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time on Gluten Free Habit.